Welcome to the Angels Positivity and Love Show. Incredible guests the world over with amazing insights, experiences, and just high vibe to share with all of you, our wonderful audience. We've been at this for 2.5 years and we have 339 shows booked into September of 2026. Right now it's August of 2025. We've got an incredible guest coming back to us from Canada, our neighbors to the north. She's highly intuitive, a healer, author. In 2024, an organization out of LA awarded her the Top Energy Healer of the Year award. So, Tracy L. Clark, TLC, if you need a quick way to remember it. She's back. She's here. She's super astute. Don't ever get to say that word on this show, but she is. And she's always got a good insight to share with us, the audience. Thank you, Tracy, for coming back on.
Thank you. And I'll let you know, just credit to them. They're actually out in New York.
Oh,
And
New York.
it was not only the year, but I received two other ones since we spoke, which was Empowered Woman of the Year and Energy Healer of the Decade.
Oh, wow. They upped it.
And my book went bestseller on the Amazon. So yeah, we've had a few things since we met. So some fun things that kind of unfolded. So it's during all these changing times we're all going through. It's a nice thing. Like we don't go to work for them, but it's nice when they show up. And then the changing times we're in, to me, it's a reflection that we all need to get right with I say the God of our understanding, whether universe, divine, whatever people want to call it. It's your sacred connection. But it's really time more than ever before to have that press in. So it's an acknowledgement that so many more people are realizing this and waking up that that's where we're going through these challenging times. So it's really good.
Well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about high vibration. What is it exactly? Is it love? Is it universal consciousness, all the above?
Yeah.
How do we, one, spot it? How do we cultivate it within is another aspect of this. And you can tackle this any which way. But remember, everyone's right out there. Every single person is right. They're all spending their energy the way they see fit.
Yep.
I'm running around, everyone's running around.
Yeah.
Some of us like chickens with our heads cut off, and yet I've never met anybody who said, "Hey, I want to go waste all my energy this week and for the next month or two or even for a decade at a time." And yet a lot of us manage to, 50, 60% of our week do exactly that. It's called thinking and judging and the rest, but
Yeah.
how can we pay attention more, maybe slow down a touch more? What's this all about?
You know, I always say, and we know this from studies too, that yeah, we have love and fear, but we have authenticity and fear, and authenticity being that highest vibration. And it's a word that's thrown out there a lot, but it takes time to cultivate that within us because we're getting to know who we are, right? And how we function on the earth. Like you said, there's no right or wrong. We're just getting our way through it and going, that's not my truth anymore. That doesn't work for me, which tells you you've grown another level, right? And I think people have to look at that. It's easy to look back and go, oh, nothing works for me. It's all horrible. I'm like, well, vibration to vibration, right? Like, what do we say? What are we thinking? And it's okay if you have a bad day. Like people in this realm, sometimes when they're new to it, they go, I can't have a bad day or what's happening. No, no, no. That's how we grow. That's how we change. It's how we are looking at it. And you said something really interesting is that over quite a long time, especially since technology. So you and I remember a time as children without technology. We used creativity, we used our imaginations, we played, we had conversations with people. We danced, we sang, right? Why do you think people loved the 80s music? Because there was a vibration. We got into the music with our friends. And I'm not saying we didn't, I know I had a crazy childhood. A lot of us still had stuff going on. But if you remember that time as well, it was how to say we had to figure it out.
Hmm.
And we were forced to figure it out because all we had was Britannia Encyclopedia, which didn't really get you very much if you had one. A book, big book. Young people go, what is that? Um, but what I find now with the technology, that there are lovely things with technology, but it's the number one thing that people have to start to do is to learn to unplug from the technology and get really back into the creativity of who they are. Whether it's, like I say, meditation for me is cooking or going for a walk, but I'm not plugged in And if I'm plugged into anything, it's music that makes me happy. And what we do is now with so much overload, when people are always on their phones, on their phones, on their phones, are you consuming things? Here's the other thing. Are you sitting there consuming things blindly, or are you consuming things like this where you're learning, you're elevating, you're shifting? And I know for me, that's where I use technology, right? I can reach with wonderful souls like yourself, and we can talk like this, and we can learn. You can put it on and you can listen to something that can elevate you. And it's people can take this any way they want. I always kind of look at it as a heavy energy or light energy. So we always talk about expansion. Anything that's expanding us. So if you're sitting in front of the TV for hours, you're not expanding your energy. You're not expanding. We're here for that reason, right? That's our purpose. Our purpose is to be who we are, the light, and look and understand why we do something, change our truth, and be authentic. And the reason people will stop expanding their energy is they feel hopeless, they feel depressed, they feel bored. Why do you think they put the news on all the time, right? There's nothing in the news that's happy, even though there's a lot of happy things still going on in the world. So it pulls the energy back, right? It pulls it back from being expansive. So when people are looking at their day, I always say to people, what was it in your day that take a look, a simple tool? Like, I'm known as the tool lady. I have tools everywhere, but I say to people, because you need tools to build a house. So if you're going to build your house, you better have some tools, right? And so you know how to work with your angels and your guides and stuff like that. And it's when you're in the authentic path, you're really saying, how can I be the best version of me? And then you start questioning things you're doing. You'll question and say, it's okay if I watch that show, but did I watch 5 hours of the show? Or did I watch an hour to maybe wind down, unplug? That's okay. That's not bad. But are you watching shoot 'em up shows all day, or watching something that's maybe fun or light? Like, we got to get really discerning during this time, which you've seen, which has unfolded this year, has been a year of, is that true? Is that true? So what it's doing is also shaking up our own truth.
Hmm.
So we can elevate. And everybody listening, this is your job, is to elevate and look at something with observation versus participation most of the time.
It would almost be more fun, wouldn't it? Just to be like, whatever's coming to you, it's the opposite. Start there and then do
Yeah.
prove it that it's actually true the way it's
Yeah.
going.
Yeah. Yeah. And I also caution people right now to keep your vibration elevating. We all understand what's going on. And sometimes we're human. We go down a rabbit hole, like, oh, look over here. But make sure you can pull yourself out, stay grounded, centered, connect with your team, and move forward. So you're on your path. Because part of the distraction energy with rabbit holes is to get people off their path, right? And then you're just guessing this or that. But we all have done it. I did it 25 years ago. I'm very aware of what's going on. You don't put your head in the sand, but that awareness helps you also to move and shift who you are. So right now is the time, that authenticity of, who am I? What do I like? It's kind of like the way Spirit showed me with the energy. Remember when you moved out of your house for the first time as a kid? Like, whenever you choose to move out, and then you're like, I don't like that food. Why am I eating it? Oh, my mom made it. Or you're just buying groceries because it was a habit that what your mom maybe bought, or you're making foods that your parents said you've all of a sudden noticed there's like, why am I doing that? I don't have to, if I don't make my bed today, I don't kind of need to, but my mom made me. Like, we start to redefine who we are. And right now, with our vibrations raising so quickly, everyone on the planet's being asked to redefine who they are. And where do you want your imprint to land? Do you want it to land in love, authenticity, kindness, or do you want it to land in greed, envy, manipulation, distraction, control? Because we've had so many camps, but now the cool thing is, I always say they're really like this now. They're very separate, right? So we're seeing, and many people can come over to the love authenticity camp, and they are starting to leave that old way of being as this old world is crumbling.
Without getting into any political terms or anything like
Oh,
that, what is the lower vibe actually offering people? Is it control, a sense of security through identity? I wouldn't be able to answer that myself, but what is the offering if you look closely
yeah.
versus freedom of speech, freedom of
Yeah.
choice, freedom of
Yeah.
this, freedom of that?
Yeah. So what I've noticed energetically and with all the people I work with every day is The lower vibe is offering a way to you have to look at it like this. The spirit says to be as simple as possible. They're trying to be your parent. They want to be your parent, and they want to be a controlling parent that says you're going to do this, 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 and this, which gives them the power.
Mm.
So there's lots of tools that gives them the power, and that's what they're offering. Because if they offer freedom and, freedom of expression and freedom of speech and who we're supposed to be, so there's two things here, then they lose the illusion that we've been under. So again, like all the empires that have fallen, we lose that illusion, and then the empire falls faster. I'm a Star Wars nut, so I always equate it to the dark and the light of, we've got the Jedis and we've got Darth Vader, right? We got the Empire. And we see right now the Empire is falling and the Jedis are rising, and people need to understand you have a lot more power, and that's what we're being birthed right now, to ask it. And if you go to Star Trek days, right, when the fall of the Empire, they recreated a place where there was, not saying, there's Romulans or bad energies out there, but if you look at Earth, it's very harmonious for everyone that lives there. They do work because they love it, not because they're getting paid. Everybody has what they need: food and clothes and water and shelter. But it's just very mundane. So their relationships are number one, and they work to help each other. So an engineer goes to work not because it needs to buy things, because that's what they like to do, and they know they can provide more water. So we're moving to a world where there's more of that energy. So we're moving from a consumer-based world, right, to one that is love and kindness. So that energy offers this me world. That's what it does.
Okay, so I love Star Wars, and I was thinking almost along the same lines. Coincidentally, we hadn't
Yeah,
compared notes. It was
no.
maybe last night or this morning. I think it was last night, about the whole empire concept. But here's the deal: the citizenry,
Mm,
off-world or wherever,
yeah.
believed in the empire. Some of them did, and
Yes.
I guess in that situation, they know they're being taxed a lot, controlled a
Yeah.
lot, and they're actually not really afforded a lot of personal decision making. So
Correct.
can we get back to that for just a second? Because
Yeah.
in a way, I would argue that there are many, without getting into any country or any political details
For sure.
whatsoever, there should be a way to handle this.
For
There's a
sure.
group of people who totally think they're at the forefront with all the decisions and all the power in the world. But I think if they looked a little closer, they'd realize they're actually not deciding anything. They're being told how to think, how to believe, how to behave.
Yes. A
Okay,
hundred percent.
but wouldn't you argue we're not there yet for that group becoming self-aware of that?
Correct. They would be like the stormtroopers.
There you go. Or
Right?
clones. So, yeah,
Yeah,
the
they're
clone.
clones. They're stormtroopers. So when they
Yeah.
take their helmets off, not their heads, and you see a person. So the helmet,
Yep.
they're all the same, right? You
Yep.
can't
Yep.
tell if this is Johnny or Susie. You don't know under there. So they've been cloned. So the stormtroopers have been manipulated, controlled, and some of them break free. We know that, right? But it's very few. And it's, oh, you broke rank, you broke rank. So the same thing is happening now. What I saw energetically now is that people are so afraid, and this is the sticky point I see that we're going to have to go through over this time period, is they're so afraid to own what maybe they've done, to own their truth. So
Mm.
the secrets are able to be bought off and paid. And so when somebody's buying your silence, you become a drone too, right? And then there's people that are just, there's mechanisms that we all have as humans that will flip on or off. So they have to get to a point to see, where is it that, how do I say this? It's say it the right way, I guess, is, I don't know if there's a right or wrong way to say it. It's the empathy levels of people have been eroded, I
Yeah.
guess.
Dumb down a little bit.
Yeah.
And
Versus,
so a
yeah.
great litmus test is pick any topic. We're not going to pick any topics, but pick any
Yes.
topic and strike out on your own with a novel approach to that topic. Not what you're seeing in the news or the
Yeah.
way a particular group thinks, but try
Yeah.
your own. And how would that wash? Would you get
Yeah.
judged a lot for that? Or would you be encouraged to have, well, you had your own opinion?
And I think that people have to also understand that when you can't be silenced, or it's no different than when we go through these mass awakenings, meaning we see the world differently. The first level of that is understanding the systems we lived in are not for us. They're against us. That's a first level. People think that's awakening. But then after that, what do most people say when they wake up and realize that? Well, why is my family rejecting me? I feel like I'm on an island by myself. There's no one that understands me, because now you've walked away from that village, so to speak. And then we find communities like you and I have, and we can talk the same language. We find more people along the way. They're like, you've noticed that, you think that, and then our truth, that's where the real light starts to awaken. And then that's when people say, you've been awake for 25 years, like, don't you want to jump off a bridge? And I'm like, no, because I was always awake as a child. It was very different, you know, that seeing, feeling, hearing, all the trauma that brought that up. But I'm like, no, because it's actually an adventure. Every day I'm still learning something different. The universe is still interacting with me. And I'm constantly on the of just evolving. What more can I learn? What more can I do? Which more can, like, it's a never ending. So it's not
And
like you just wake up and you're done.
And I'm going to just kind of give a shout out to your background. Very, assorted background. First Canadian businesswoman to sell a public company. You were very business oriented at one point. As a child, a ton of trauma on a bunch of different fronts, including being kidnapped, I believe.
Yes.
Near-death experience, yes?
A multiple. And
Multiple.
I did flatline at 7. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. So, and much more than that, plus being intuitive and everything else. So you've had a lot of, we'll call it washing machine turbulence, tumbling, and you've had to get your own strong navigational bearings with respect to you, the universe, energy flows, and much more,
Yeah,
and
because
helping others.
I was also in a very abusive relationship. So, you know, I gave all the money, I gave everything away. Like I
Yeah.
just lost everything. So I think people have to understand that you know, they have to understand that these are what we choose to come through. And when we look at many scenarios in the world, it's kind of that definition of insanity, you know, like we're doing the same thing over and over again. And all as empires have crashed around the world, people just kept building the same thing again, right? And as people were looking for more freedom, we kept building the same institutions, running from the same ideas. Like I always say, we look at kings and queens, we're still doing the same thing around land and wars versus, well, wait a minute, we all live on earth. And we don't need rulers. We need communities of people coming together and saying, because where you live or where I live, or maybe somebody lives in a little island somewhere, and they say they all need different things. They require different things depending also on that location. It's not a one size fits all, right? So we're in a rebirth of getting rid of all these systems we've had for thousands of years. So as that happens, we naturally will start to go, whoa, why did I attract that? Whoa, why am I in that? Somebody said to me the other day, is my calling to go protest in the street? And I said, well, if it's something that you feel strongly about, that could be. I said, that's not my calling. But if you feel strongly, and they went, and the light bulb, and this is where it went on. It was like everybody's to show up in the world differently so we can shift these energies.
Mm.
So you and I do podcasts, you and I teach, we work with clients, we use our voice, and we want people to be elevated. Somebody else, it might be to go do a protest. Somebody else, it might be, you know, maybe they're just speaking to people in their family one-on-one. Like everybody's role is different to get us through, but that's the energy we carry inside that is asking us to show up there. But if you're showing up there because you're angry, if you're showing up there because you're mad, that's only going to feed the other
Mm.
energy, because unfortunately we do need a chaos in anything. It's like I say a bad divorce. When you go through a divorce, it's not easy. They're not all like, oh, namaste, I love you. Somebody's like, they're calling the lawyers and they're getting fighting. And I said, that's the kind of stuff we need to stop. It's like, I'm going to love you enough to let you go. And I'm going to respect that our time is done here and understanding. And that's what's happening in the world. We have to break up with the old systems, but it has to start with each of us.
I love that. I'm going to state 3 sentences. There's very little that I know is true. I'll try
Ah,
the 3 or 4 things I've learned in 14 years from angels and the universe. Angels exist, trust that it's so, and your answers and much more will come. Hugs are worth 100 answers.
Yeah.
Also, where you put your focus is where you put your focus. How you spend your energy is how you spend your energy. I love reflexive sentences because there's really no debate about that.
Yeah.
And finally, positivity is abundance. Archangel Michael said that. And
Mm.
any one of those I would love to tackle. Not the angels exist part. We'll do that
Can I
later.
give you one more?
Yeah, please.
That is, I don't know who came up with it, so you have to find the author, but it was brilliant. It's like whether you believe in fear and faith, you can't see either, but you're believing in something.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah, no, you are spending, you're committing your poker chips on a regular basis, and whether you know it or not. And
Yeah.
ignorance is no excuse, Geronimo said. You're still responsible for how you play your poker chips. So that's what
Chills.
we're getting to.
Yeah, chills on that one. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what we're getting to. I'll go ahead and put up some angels and some
Sure.
photos, though, for some inspiration. Not that you need it because you're such a good expert, but here's older Geronimo. People at home, let's do this. If you want to get involved, you've got full ability to listen, feel, and see.
Hmm.
Just ask for it. Keep saying yes to the universe, make it nice. But ask angels to get you out of your head into your heart and help you just hear with all of you. Here's Geronimo, older. He's pure action, unconditional love, dry wit, humor, like a lightning bolt. Ask him a private question, folks. Put a hand up, treat him like a fireplace. Feel what you can feel, don't judge. Okay, Tracy, get something from him on one of those topics.
He says as the world is changing, you have to embrace your warrior spirit, but understand that your warrior spirit isn't running and screaming through the streets.
It's love, it's compassion, it's kindness, it's sparkle.
You got it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
actually, yeah, it's like polishing your the diamond that you are.
But he also says you'll be tested, and there's a time and a place to use your voice. And it's interesting because I can hear him say there's a time and a place to use your voice and be very discerning during this time.
Mm.
And that would be like going back. It's like he says, kind of like as if you were to go back into a TP and just close it and just go into meditation, right? Like you were just, what is, and you can hear, it's interesting because I've never had so much of that from him, but you can hear, like if you were in a TP, but you can hear how I grew up on a reserve, but so you know how you can hear the drums, or you can hear this like, woo, like it's going, like I'm not, like it's a very powerful sound. But as much as there's a race outside of it, it's calm inside that
Mhm.
space, which is a reflection he's showing of who we should be inside while we're watching out there.
Wow, we're going to do a few more of those because what we're doing is
Yeah.
putting little pins on an invisible map. And then you're going to
Yeah.
talk about the map more, the landscape.
Yeah.
Here's Charlotte, everybody's favorite teacher from third form. Not Mrs. Wilson or Mrs. Johansson, who used to get you in trouble, but Mrs. Johnson. Think of your coolest teacher. And she's an angel that's an actual photo of an angel in light energy form or energy light form. It doesn't matter. Close your eyes. You can full on see her if you're what we'll call intuitive, but if you also just don't care about labels and you're like, I want to do it today, close your eyes and just see her full on. She'll look like Audrey Hepburn's sister. Meanwhile, Charlotte, we've got TLC, Tracy L. Clark out of Canada, an amazing intuitive healer slash many other hats. She's connecting with Charlotte and getting sort of another wild way to approach all this air traffic. She's air traffic control, Tracy's air traffic control, and she's going to help land another airplane at the airport.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, it's interesting that you use that analogy because what she was showing, so I love these kind of shows. What she was showing is almost like you have to rise, like she's taking your energy, she's rising above, and you're like planes in the air, right? But there's a time when you're up here looking that you'll come down into that space of just it's a grounding, and she's really speaking to the masses right now of saying be grounded, be focused. But again, it's like keep your eyes, and I'm not sure why she's saying it, but keep your eyes wide open. Like don't be sleepy right now. No sleepy time, no unplugging in terms of I want to just go hide. She's because that's why she said there'll be a test, and this is a test that we don't want to miss is like or fail. I guess I don't like that word, but the test is we must keep showing up in who we are. So if you're feeling like you want to retreat, she goes, it's not a time to retreat. Your energy is needed in the world like never before.
Mm. Okay. I won't put up Joy and Min just yet. I am going to
Okay.
find another. Rebecca's from really far out. An angel. There's actually four balls of light in this photo if I can figure out how to There's one
Yes.
there, and then two
Yeah.
others. What's Rebecca have to add? She comes from a place that's so far beyond Andromeda. She's an angel, so don't worry about any of these
She
galactic
is.
details.
Yep.
Yeah, and she's all about music, actually. She's one of my business managers along with Charlotte and Archangel Michael.
But it's really interesting because she's actually saying that we need to be really open to connecting to energies that are off the planet, because those energies that are connected to God, universe, divine, and like in this angelic form, they're, oh, my whole third eye just went like this. They're really coming forward to support us all. And we need to really stop being afraid, she says, of asking for their help, using them, because and she's reminding all of us, we need to ask for their help for them to really show up. And so she's like, it is time to bring in all the reinforcements that are here and want to help us as individuals, and it will speed up what's going on the planet. Well, that's a nice message. I'll take that.
Yeah, and you just made another point, which is how would you know? I'll do it this way. Every ghost you run into when you ask, are you a good ghost or bad ghost? Last
Yeah.
time I checked, every ghost says I'm a good ghost, period.
Yeah.
But we know there are some bad ghosts out there. So how do you know the difference? Well, Joy will tell us in a little
Yeah.
bit how to sense high vibration. But
Yeah.
with that, oh, I'm going to lose it now. Shoot.
You know what helps me
Yeah, what
when,
helps?
yeah, when like there's and I had it happen today. Well, I see feel here. I was working with someone, and I have a dog, but he was sitting right on my lap. Now, you can tell you have a dog, when the dog growls, right? He wasn't growling, and I was moving something off, and I heard that, and then all of a sudden he heard it. He looked at me, and he started just going at the air, right? Wasn't a window or anything. So some of us, we get that, but what I found was before it came in, this is what my body does. If people listen to their body, I was working with her, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, they're showing it like this. Have you ever been the little kid and you had to go to the basement to get something from grandma and you run up really quick because you're like, something's in there? And but you can feel the difference between something's living there that's not my friend. Because that's what my body will do when there's something not good.
Yep.
What it does do when an angel comes in, what we're doing right now, or a beautiful loving guide, uh, it all of a sudden it feels so light and expansive. Like it just feels like that warm hug you talk about. It's like, and I work, and all of a sudden, just like we're doing right now, and all of a sudden you feel that energy come through, and you're like somebody just gave you a blanket. You're like, oh, and your nerve system calms down. Your nerve system will go on high alert. Or it's similar if you've ever been walking down the street, they're showing me, and all of a sudden your head goes like this, and you're like, I think I'm going to cross the road. You listen, your nerve system goes up. It's the same energy when an energy comes in that has to leave. Yeah.
And I found that lost thought. It was the concept of unconditional love figures.
Yeah.
It's no interference. Now, it doesn't mean you're
Yeah.
never going to get helped. You have there's an invisible plan for you at your unique life path for humanity. So if you didn't ask for 50 years, it doesn't mean you're not going to get some help. But the whole
Yeah.
point of unconditional love is, hey, you're supposed to ask, set your intent, learn
Yeah.
to own your own experiences, learn to trust your own flow, grow
Yeah.
your authenticity like you talked about before. So with that, I'll put up
Yeah.
two angels here, Archangel Michael and Joy. And out of that, if you could just take what they're giving us and run with it a little about, even if you just said to the universe daily, hey, yes, you don't have to know what you're saying yes to, just more
Mhm.
love, more high vibe, more
Yeah.
details.
Yeah.
What do they say? What do you say about this whole concept of embracing broader growth expansion, which never stops?
Yeah. Never stops. Yeah. It's interesting. They both say if you're willing to we said this earlier, but if you're willing to get rid of your like old encyclopedias, your whole world will open. But you have to be willing to look at things that may feel scary because they're going to be foreign, they're new, but look at them because it's going to expand all of us into a new way of creating, living, manifesting, enjoying. And the thing that they just reminded me of, like with that message, is we are in one of the highest vibes for creating. So even though it might seem there's all this chaos going on, which is birth, but this is a great time to really bring in what you want.
Mm.
And it's so positive. And I know one of the simple tools I use every day, if people want to take this, I teach it, but it's so easy. I will look at some things I want to create. And, you can do it with anything. So if it's more connection, it might be more love on the planet. One of the ones I do on the planet, you can do this with anything you want to create. So I'm like, throughout the day, I take time and I'm like, thank you, God, for you say universe divine, whatever, but that'll bring your teams in. And then I'm like, thank you for a peaceful planet. Thank you for a peaceful planet. Thank you for creating more peace quicker on the planet. I will say this all day long. It takes a minute, but when you thank spirit and you see it, so I visualize a planet when I say it of people, because we're just all have, we take off our skin, we're all the same underneath, whether you're a man or woman, right? I see people that are helping each other. I see streams that are overflowing with beautiful water. I see the vegetation coming back. Like if you can do that, and you can do this with anything, you start to feel it. And then you're like, I say, thank you. I remove any interference. I'm like, thank you guys, out you go. And then your teams, your angels, your guides, they're vibrating the energy. But the key that I noticed, and I can't tell you how many things I've created in my life by doing this and how fast it is. It's kind of creepy right now. It's so fast. Like, it's like, whoa. But people tell me that, oh my gosh, like I was just hoping for this end result. I got out of my way of how it's going to look. They went through some craziness, and 100% of the time they tell me it's better than what they thought.
Let's have you spontaneously create just another tool. So I'm going to put up Joy. And if you don't mind putting your hands out or using your whole body to feel her, just show us how to go beyond words so we can't get stuck with are we asking right? Are we asking
Yeah,
for the right
no,
stuff? Where are we
everything's
putting our
right.
focus?
No.
Let's go with feel what you feel and not judge right now. But Joy can take us through a little something. You can take us through a little something. What are we doing right now?
Hmm. So if you actually, it's interesting. If you took both hands, I had to put both hands. If you take both hands, and she's like, allow the energy as it comes through the fingertips, whatever color. Now I've seen her color because I like that color. It resonates with me a lot. But she says you might see a different color, but it'll be bright. And it comes through the hands, and it's a language. And the language actually she shows as the energy, let them do it, comes through. The language of the light has that sacred geometry through it, but let it go through your fingers, let it go through your arms, let it go through. I see where it's going. So as soon as it comes through the whole body, let it go through the body. She says it's actually activating our authentic blueprint, which means all the things that we've come here that we're truly ready to create and have get activated naturally, because our blueprint is, it's getting, she's washing it. I don't know how else to describe it, but being washed through your field. So anything that was a layer, you don't really, she can just peel it off as an authentic blueprint of who we are comes forth.
Nice. Okay, let's talk the galaxy or the universe and
Yeah.
how humanity is not the only casino on the Vegas Strip. So maybe we can compare it to
Yeah.
an ocean instead. Angels are
Yeah.
like dolphins, light beings are like whales. Are we alone in the universe? Let's start off at the very beginning.
No, we're not alone in the universe.
How do you
I,
know? And
you
is
know,
universe the isn't love the fabric of the universe?
it is, and it's a universal language of just, it's a feeling. Like it's a, yeah, I like dealing in the energy off earth a lot. And people ask me why, and I love that connection because it is freeing and it is love. And I believe from what I've seen, we are as light beings drawn here to bring right that energy here. Earth has been through a lot of co-opting, pain, and manipulation.
And a
I
lot of human trafficking, a
a
lot.
lot of human, oh, just the things that, yeah,
I
we
mean, more human trafficking than you could imagine if you took all our history books
oh
and made
yeah,
them a
it's the
certain amount of
number
detail.
one.
It's the
Yeah,
number one thing. I had
yeah.
no idea. I mean, we're
Oh,
not even
really?
talking one type of human trafficking. We're talking
Oh no,
every imaginable form. And you think it was
everyone.
only 50, 60, 100 years ago, Roman times, that it was big. It's bigger now than it was back in the old conquistador days or Roman Empire days. It's
Oh
still
yeah.
the main industry on the planet.
It is.
I didn't
It's
know.
one. Really? Oh, I've known that for
Yeah.
years. It's really sad. I when I've had a lot of interaction with other energies, and I'm blessed to have on the other planet, like there are places in the world, and in this last year, there was a area that kept coming into my community, and they're funny. They call us silly humans sometimes, silly humans, but when I've had lots of different interactions, there's a lot of places that are very peaceful, very peaceful. And the reason you can see on Earth, it's like you haven't got it. You haven't got it. So a lot of us that are here to spread that. So when you're in those other energies, because they look at what goes on here, and literally there's people think we've been evolved, but no, because if we were truly evolved and those darker energies didn't co-opt the planet, that would not be even a thought
Mm.
of being a business. But this narrative of, they always tell me that planet Earth has more slavery than most of the other parts of the galaxy and universe.
It's a
So
hard concept.
it's
It
a big one.
Yeah, and that's where if everyone is saying the same thing, it's a clue. How about that? If it's a
It
certain
is.
way you have to think, or you're not even looking at topics anymore, that normally would be like house is on fire, let's go put it out. And you're
Yeah.
told, don't worry about it.
Yeah, exactly. And so the other energies and all the energies that are in the universe for love, they're really, really, I'd have to say, after being in this realm for 25 years, not doing what I'm doing now, but my wake up of 25 years ago, I've never seen so much help come from other areas to help us. Like it's almost like the beacon went out, but the beacon went out because Earth is so magical. This is why it got co opted. It's so magical. There's so much creation, the way our bodies, our souls, our essence, the way we work, the way we love, the way we connect. We're very unique as humans. And that is why it got co opted by the dark. And they wanted to, it's like a battle of getting rid of how unique we are, and they won't win. But once we all as humans step fully into our power and our truth, and more of this dark is rid, the planets in the universe and galaxy you can see where we have ties like that, where they have similarities, they will naturally become free too. So we have so much love that's trying to help us because there's other places that need to be free. But and Earth is like the holding point for so much. And you think we're just this little planet with a bunch, we look like little ants next to everything else running out there in the galaxy, but it holds that much power that's why they've stopped here. And so when you harm another soul, you take a piece of who they are.
Mm.
And when I learned that through being kidnapped and my gifts and things that opened, and I didn't, and I realized what it was, because the more the dark comes in, and when you get into these even deeper areas of the slavery and trafficking, it just shuts down the whole system. That's why they do it. Our energetic system shuts down. And so when that is no longer allowed, Earth will become one of the most peaceful, beautiful places
Mm.
imaginable. Yeah.
Without getting into any details again, we'll try to do
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
There's a country over in Europe, it might be an island, whatever, but it's
Yeah.
going through a major revamp, whether they know it or not.
Yes.
Huge numbers and hundreds of thousands are the figures of women from age 9 or younger
Yeah.
to whatever top end have been abused, trafficked. We're talking
Yeah.
drugs,
Yeah.
violence,
Yeah.
sexual violence,
Yeah.
in huge numbers where the country doesn't want to face it. It would be the equivalent of the Holocaust, Germany,
Yeah.
World War II, but I would
Yeah.
argue um, almost equal to that because of the
Yeah.
numbers involved and the
Yeah.
degree of putting their heads in the sand because they don't want to rock the boat
Correct.
for a bunch of reasons. So that's just one facet of this gem, which is not a gem. all over the globe going on. Africa has had this
Yeah.
going on, Indonesia or Asian
It's in
countries,
every country,
every
and in
country.
every country there are the dark forces that feed it, and it's all of our structures. So this is why people are rising up right now, that they want the structures to fall. And the reason they're calling, so you can see the heads of all these places want more and more and more, right? Because
Yep.
that's what they grew up and they fed. So our souls are coming up to bring down these structures. It's like we don't, and that's why they're getting more frustrated. They might look at it as, oh, I'm tired of paying taxes, or I'm tired of being a slave this way, or whatever. And all this narrative, and it's just the structures they're holding up, because every country feeds into these pods. And what I call them are nests. So they become these nests
Mm.
and these structures. And I have worked with, I've done an exorcism. I've worked with a lot of crazy energies that come in through different forms of addiction and stuff like that. And when we say the soul gets pushed out of the body, people have to understand that it does happen. So a lot of the people, this is where they come and their soul is get pushed out of the body. So that's how they're able to do this. We have no ability to even, we go know it, but you can't comprehend it if you have empathy. So what you can do there too is, when you're asking the energy, the angels, the guides, maybe somebody's listening to this and your thing is prayer. Maybe that's what you do. Like, just get that into the world, like get that energy into the world. See that energy going, of that being broken off, the chains, the history, the ancestral patterns, because those energies can and will leave the planet. They will.
And we'll do it another way. If 100,000 citizens were to get out into March, I can name a couple countries where it
Yeah.
is happening in what I think is a positive way, and I'll name them in a second.
Yeah.
But if 100,000 citizens went out and said human trafficking is bad, violence
Yeah.
against any group, especially women, especially
Any
9 years
person.
old,
Yeah.
yeah, is
Anywhere.
bad. We're not really seeing that. And where I will argue we are seeing it with countries that are fighting for their freedom,
Yep.
maybe
Yep.
Ireland and Brazil. How about that?
Yep.
And I
Yeah.
think we've seen
Yeah.
marches going on in Ireland. And I think for sure on a regular basis, huge numbers of citizens in the tens of thousands getting onto the streets of Brazil. They know something's up.
Yeah, they do. And they're very aware. And there's the word I just heard is, people remember, we keep coming together. And what, huh, I keep hearing liberation, because we must remember as souls that it's like there's literally like a million of us and 1,000 of them. So you got to remember, I mean, million of us in terms of people that get it, people that have empathy, people that want to have compassion. You know how everybody throws around that term narcissist, right? But not everybody is. I was married to one that was clinically diagnosed. So you learn
Yeah.
it very quickly, right? So you can't throw that around. But what happens is they have a very they have no empathy level. And then it goes into the next terms. It gets heavier and heavier and heavier, right? So I think people know that. And then it becomes that what happens is their body becomes co-opted so much. I say it's like, if you look at the serial killers out in the world, they don't know what they're doing is bad. They just do it, right? They don't have empathy. They don't have a trigger. We as humans um, will all have different levels of things that can awaken or not. So a lot of those energies, they don't even realize what they're doing is bad. So the liberation is coming, but the more we need to also keep binding together. And the biggest thing that I keep hearing spirit say to get through this, we must stop dividing people on saying, well, this happened 1,000 years ago, or this happened 50 years ago, or you're this color, or you're this group, or you're this. No, 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 no. The light of spirit is always be a better human, learn to love everyone.
Mm.
You don't have to accept everything, but we need to have understandings that we're different, that we can be a good human, though. You're not going to get a pass for being a bad human. No. But so it's like, if we could teach that versus division, then we're right in line with the universal God, spirit, energy, whatever anyone wants to call it. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna light some sage. I don't think I did that on air. You and I did that before the show. So this is just a moment where people watching can smell sage. It doesn't matter if
Yeah.
it's the year 2029, you're in
Yeah.
Christchurch, Tokyo, Riyadh.
Doesn't
You can
matter.
smell the
Yeah.
sage. Yeah. No time
Yeah.
and space quite like you think. And you can get flowers, ocean, extra if you're already highly intuitive. And even if you're not, it doesn't matter. Close your eyes and see light coming in. Let angels, the universe say a little hello. You want a rainbow butterfly coming right in front of you with your eyes open. Why not? And
Mm-hmm.
here's the sage with the red-tailed hawk feather from one of the Native American
Mm-hmm.
chiefs. This one is probably red shirts. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You're getting the sage A-OK in Canada from Texas. Yeah. And then flowers. What else are you getting?
Mm. I'm actually smelling like cedar wood.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do light. I'm going to put up construction paper. I've modernized what I use, and you can see my light. But the second you do see my light and you pick some colors that you're seeing, and we do this a lot for guests, ask the universe to step in, and I'll go bigger, wider, faster. Charlotte and a bunch of angels will make something in between my fingers. It'll be a vortices, it'll be a
Yeah.
butterfly. Two people got phoenixes, flowers. It'll be whatever a person will allow for. So at home, you don't have to know any details. Just tell the universe and angels, hey, make it big.
Just bring it all, make it
Yeah,
big.
bring it on. Make
I
it.
love it.
Okay. So here's my light. And what are you seeing?
Well, there's fairy in there. You can see that.
And now what are you getting?
It's like the Milky Way. It's like a cosmic energy, but you can see there's I want to call it like almost would look like a jellyfish, but not. It's something not of this planet. I'm not sure what that is. It's a beautiful, beautiful, light, bright, healing being. Wow. Kind of looks like the energy you would see. It's weird at the bottom of the, remember the abyss?
Yeah, the
Remember
movie.
we went to the bottom of that show, The Abyss? Yeah, remember
Yeah.
at the bottom? You make me want to watch it again now, looking at that. That's like being down there of just this, whoa, beauty.
Here's Charlotte. She can add a little extra flavor if you want words to it.
Yeah.
Hear what you got.
Oh, you know what? And also interesting the flavor. So the reason they showed like the abyss and what was under the earth, we must remember there's a lot of things that are hidden that we haven't seen yet, that are
Yeah. I
for
mean,
us, that are
we're
for
not,
us.
yeah, and we're not the, again, we're not even, we haven't even entered the damn casino that we claim is the only casino on the strip. And we haven't even entered the casino. And if what we have been given is like maybe the first two rooms, you can
Yeah.
only play blackjack and roulette. That's it.
Yeah.
So wait till
That's
the craps tables open up further back.
yeah. Wait until everything's going and you're hearing ding, ding, ding. Yeah. Everything's going on.
Exactly.
Look over here. Look over here. Oh, yeah, I really believe over these next 3 years, we're going to see a lot of really cool stuff come out and a lot of stuff where people will be like, because they're skills, your actual skills, how you heal, how you see, how you feel, they're going to get stronger and stronger and stronger. So if you can remember that as all the other stuff, everybody listening is leaving. It's going to leave, and it's okay if you don't want to believe that you just heard that or saw it. That's all right. Just keep going because it's going to come out lots and lots of truth. Yeah.
Okay, as we start to wrap up, but we're not there yet. Let's put you to work as sort of a 1% of a 1% healer. You're a full healer, but we don't want to like
Yeah.
hit you with this out of the blue. But I am 1% of 1% under the weather. Someone I know is actually
Yes.
100% under the weather. And so I am in that I don't have to get it mode. I'm going to put up three
Yeah.
angels. We'll
Oh,
put you to
yeah.
work one way or the other. It could be just a positive mantra. You send energy this way. I put my palms up.
Yeah, it's you know what? It's like I'm not getting that. That is not mine to take in. I
Yeah,
am
I'm not going to catch
that.
it.
I'm rejecting it.
I'm
It's not mine
rejecting
to
it.
take in. I am
Yeah.
I'm releasing that out of my field. I'm not taking it in. But they say it's important that you're like, I'm not like talk to the hand. Like I'm not taking that in. I reject it. I'm not taking it in. Funny as we say this, my body's heating up. So there's something burning off of you. I don't know if you see my whole face just turned red. I'm like, oh, it's heating up.
Oh.
It's coming off of you. Not taking it in. Yeah.
And if you could, I always say this, you can see my aura, and I've
Yeah.
forgotten where you are for, is it make it stop all the time, and you've learned to shut it off. But for folks at home, look at my nose and just chill out and pretend I'm the most boring and exciting professor in the world. Listen to the voice and just,
Yeah.
you'll start to see filament lighter light, but the more you
Yeah.
let go, the bigger it gets. If you need
Yeah.
help, go to my forehead. Tracy, what are you seeing for my light right now? I have not done this in like 100 shows. So what are you seeing
Oh,
here?
yeah. In terms, you want color or do you want energy?
Both.
Okay. So it's showing that sort of white with a very light blue. And you can see that it's actually from, so if you looked at it almost like a little bit of a helmet, like if you had an ancient helmet that went over and then it sits with upon the shoulders. But there's also, they're saying within the reason the colors look like that, that there is an energy that you are, this is why you're also feeling a little under the weather, is that's going, you're integrating a new level of connection and awareness. And it's also healing. There's a spot right at the back part of the left side of the brain that is starting to open up. Yeah, right in there, you can feel it's starting to open up, which is allowing even your connection to grow differently. So your body's doing an upgrade, but it literally, it looks like that. And there's these ancient symbols. I don't know all of them yet, but there's one that's right here in the middle, right
I
here in
don't
the
I don't mind if I mean Charlotte will tell you if it's off limits or not, but there's Charlotte and Min, they can actually define it for you in plain English.
Yeah, I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it like they're saying it's comes from that Egyptian time. It would be something that would be on the wall, but it's. I wish I could. I
She
can't.
might have been Nefertiti back then, so have a private chat and then only give us what's for public consumption on the show.
She comes from, yeah, okay. So she comes from that time space, and there's something with you that's connected to the symbol that's awakening where you're going right now.
Mm.
It's
Beautiful.
going to change your probably your direction, like now that you're expanding even more. So she said you're going to actually probably start seeing it more, so you'll have more information there. Yeah.
Okay, and I'm going to read the fluffiest, easiest, my favorite statement of all from an angel in a moment, but we're going to do one last interactive exercise. If you could put out your hand like you're getting 50 euro, and it could be off camera, it doesn't matter. Just
Yeah.
ask one of your favorite energies. It could be an India figure, it could be galactic, it could be five angels, it could be a fairy. Who's saying pick me and are they showing up? And which way are they showing up as light in your hand? It could be Audrey Hepburn, it could be anybody. Thich Nhat Hanh, Mary, Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha,
Mm.
Gandhi, Ganesh. Who are you getting in your hand that's showing up as light? Breathe extra at home if you need help. And then at home, if you're seeing it at some point, bring it into your heart and get a quantum explosion of love, get rocked, get rippled, get whooshed, get a laughter that you can't control. I mean, it'll stop in 5 minutes, but
Oh, for
what do
sure.
you, what did you, who came in that you can share?
I actually got Joy, and the reason Joy came in is so she's reminding us of something, which is really interesting. She says, you must keep playing and having fun. And remember, during all the times of chaos, even great war times, they learned how to play and they kept playing and they kept having fun and they kept celebrating, even when things they had to do it. Right. So she's like, no matter what you see right now, just find the laughter, find the joy. And that's different for everybody. Right.
As they say, ebb and flow, you still got to pass go, bust out the Monopoly board and play go or play Monopoly. Okay. Here's that phrase, and I've lived with this now. I want to say 10 years, 11 years, and I love it. Sometimes the person next to you or a stranger just needs validation via love and compassion. A smile changes any moment. So
Yeah.
too does laughter or a few kind words. Be compassion to all. Do it.
Yeah. You know, you reminded me, I was at this outdoor at an outdoor spa recently, and I was sitting around this fire pit with some friends, and this young woman walked over, and she walked over and she sat and she was just kind of by herself. I saw her early in the resort, and she was reading on her Kindle, having a nice time. And I heard Spirit say to me, like, I was looking, she literally had the most beautiful skin tone you've ever seen, like ever seen. There was this beautiful kind of chocolate, like I don't know. It was I've never seen that kind of skin tone. So I said, "Excuse me." And she kind of looked up, and I said, You know, what's your background? You have the most beautiful skin tone I've literally ever seen. Not to be weird, just tell. And she glue, and she's like, "Well, my mom is Irish, my dad is Guyanese," and she just smiled. And it was even in me because I'm like, "Oh, she's reading." I even had my moment, right? But I'm like, no, it was you could feel, when you can feel your spirit guides pushing you. And she was just glowing. And it was how many times I want to just remind people because your verse just said it to me. How many times have you seen something on someone and you held back from saying something for them that, like, you know what, maybe that it's something they're wearing or something they did or something they said. We got to get back to praising people and just acknowledging things we notice about them because that is how we start to change energy. And that didn't take more than a couple of minutes.
And you just gave an incredible account. So I'm unfortunately going to pick a really folksy version, which is I've been running for 43 years since I was 14. And here I am a runner in North San Antonio, and I'll see one driver. I don't know, I've never witnessed it, but one person is
Yeah.
tossing a banana peel out the window and it turns black. And over 3 or 4 days, I see the banana peel, then it's gone. And after a year of this, I might have had a reaction like, oh, I can't believe they're tossing a banana peel out the window. But an angel named Dale stepped in and very early on was like, look, let the banana peel be a reminder to laugh and celebrate something or to have a lighter set of footsteps for a minute until you can't do that anymore. And so over time, whenever I see the banana peel, now I celebrate. And I'm afraid the banana peel, by the way, might be before my gate as I exit my community. So now I'm wondering if the banana peel tosser is one of my neighbors. I thought that was. But the point is, there'll be months that go by and I don't see the banana peel. Then there's a banana peel, and I'm like, oh my God, it's back. And I
It's
get a little
back.
laughter. Yeah. So
Oh, I love it.
anything can be a reminder.
Yeah.
Your opportunity each day is what will you allow for and what do you want to be reminded of? And I'll leave
And
it with that.
yeah, and keep making people's days because this is how we're going to push. If you want to, that's one of the fastest ways to push energy because you don't know what somebody's going on in that day, but you can keep, if you can go and be the better, you can keep lifting people, lifting people, lifting people up by just doing those simple things will change the world at light speed.
Okay. And speaking of changing the world, you're going to leave us with a mantra. 3 times you're going to repeat it. I'm going to buy you time and tell two dad jokes. And I'll even put up Joy and Charlotte. I know you could do a mantra blindfolded, but here are the dad jokes. What's the only flower found on the human face? Tulips. And then the other one you heard before the show, but maybe somebody out there hasn't. And if you could like, subscribe, share, comment, but put an emoji down, especially at this point, if the dad joke's any good. Where do rainbows go when they're bad? Prism, but it's a light sentence. Okay. What's your mantra? And you heard that before the show, so we got a double laugh there. Um,
Yes.
that's how we came in, if you were wondering why she was smiling so much at the beginning. Um, what's your mantra that you'll say 3 times so people can pick up the Tracy L. Clark vibe in Canada? And it's tracylclark.com. All your details will be
Yeah.
below the video. But right now is a great time for people to put their palms up and feel Tracy's energy with nice boundaries. Angels will keep it love and above.
Always,
Um,
always. Yeah.
What's your mantra? You'll say it 3 times, and this way people can pick up on your vibe and suck it to us.
So they want you to remember I'm strong, confident, and empowered and connected. I am strong, confident, empowered, and connected. I am strong, confident, empowered, and connected. And then thank. So I always say after anything you speak to the universe, you can say thank you, God. You can say thank you, universe. You can say thank you, divine, Pokeroo. I don't care, but thank somebody up there. Thank your angels, somebody.
Om Sai Ram, rock and roll, thank you, amen, whichever way is your
Yep.
version of saying thanks a lot.
Thank you. 100%.
And with that, thank you, Tracy L. Clark, another amazing show. You're just such a miracle for all of us.
Thank you for having me. And everybody, we're gonna see a new world. You will see it very soon. We're seeing it every day. So stay connected.
Thank you, Tracy.
Thank you.